The invitation to speak about extraplanetary beings is extended to me because since the age of 5, I have been in contact with extraterrestrials. From 5 to 13 years old, I frequently participated in abduction phenomena, which I will explain in more detail later. These beings returned to my life in 2003 to propose a joint work that has been ongoing until today, and from which we have learned a lot, especially about the fraternity we are seeking. Before discussing more about extraterrestrials and their contributions, I would like to briefly talk about our scientific bases so that we have credibility in what they bring us. We live in a universe that, as far as we know, is extremely vast. Each bright point that you see in astronomical images represents a galaxy, not a star. These galaxies that populate the universe number in the billions, and according to current astronomy, each galaxy contains between 100 billion and 400 billion suns. Understanding sun, not just as the celestial body like ours, but including all planets that have reached enlightenment. The images you are seeing are from the galaxy of Alpha Centauri, which is quantumly more evolved than our Milky Way. Unfortunately, we still can't get a real photo. We only have representations made by astronomers to rely on. We live in a nebula composed of several arms, and our solar system is located in the arm called Orion, right on its periphery. If you look at the astronomical drawing, you will see a small yellow dot positioned approximately at 7 o'clock on a clock face. This is our solar system, which, although not gigantic, is significant because it is our little house. Historically, we know through archaeological evidence that there has always been contact between extraplanetary civilizations and humanity. In 1857, Allan Kardec published the Book of Spirits, which came to codify Spiritism. In this book, there are 22 questions posed by Kardec to the Spirit of Truth about extraplanetary life, stating that life develops on several planets and that it is very unlikely that the current inhabitants of Earth are evolutionarily primary from this planet. Life forms on other planets are adapted to the evolutionary configurations and molecular needs of each planet. This topic, which went unnoticed at the time, was not completely ignored. Camille Flammarion, a friend and collaborator of Kardec, wrote several books on the subject, some of which described his supposed travels to other planets to observe life there. However, after the Industrial Revolution, interest in ufology and contact with other civilizations declined. With the predominance of religions before the Industrial Revolution, science began to gain prominence after that era, dictating rules and influencing the growth of materialism and consumerism, relegating religions to a secondary plan. In the 19th century, many extraordinary minds like Jung, Freud, Kardec, Leon Denis, and Maria Montessori brought knowledge that could have provided a quantum leap in human evolution if we had been open to new ideas. However, the material part continued to dominate, and humanity continued to advance by fits and starts until the Second World War. After the war, the world was in shock, devastated by the horrors and losses. We then entered the Cold War, a period marked by the fear of a nuclear war between the United States and Russia, with China isolating itself. With the end of the Second World War, especially in the early 50s, a worldwide proliferation of reports on unidentified flying objects and encounters with humanoid beings not human like us and who communicate by telepathy began. These reports are surprisingly similar worldwide, regardless of age, sex, nationality, or social status. They describe different extraterrestrial races like the Greys, described as small gray beings, and the Pleiadians, tall blonde humanoids. Other beings are also mentioned, with large foreheads like the Arcturians, a race of philosophers, and the reptilians. It's important to note that just like among humans, among extraterrestrials, there are both benevolent and malevolent beings. The technological advancement of these civilizations does not necessarily imply an equivalent moral evolution, a phenomenon we can also observe in our own species. But it is also incorrect to say that all reptilians are malevolent. This is not true either. There are highly evolved reptilians of significant hierarchy, endowed with a vast capacity for unconditional love. In the last 2 decades, beings with silver or white hair parted in the middle and falling to the shoulders have been reported, and beings in various sectors have been documented, especially among abductees. Encountering extraterrestrials can be frightening, but it is probably also frightening for them to see us. They are clearly seeking contact, and this leaves no doubt about their intentions. The questions we must ask are essential for the next step, which is mass contact with these civilizations. Personally, as a physicist and consultant, I'm not only interested in technical issues like the fuel of their ships or how they move. I'm more interested in philosophical and social issues, which are my area. We know that these beings are multidimensional, existing from the 5th dimension upwards, and most of them do not have a physical body as dense as ours. They currently project themselves through unfolding when they come to work with us. What characterizes them is expanded consciousness, a different vision, and a broader understanding of reality. They practice the law of fraternity and do not consider themselves perfect, which is one reason why we should not idolize them or create a religion based on their beliefs. In conversations with an entity named Sheila, a very generous and assertive being, I asked if they had a religion. She replied that no, they do not believe in dogmas but in the Creator Source, which is pure and perfect energy existing in every quark of all atoms. This belief includes the divine presence in everything, from the atoms of the sun to those of a virus or a murderer. When beings like Mother Teresa of Calcutta, Chico Xavier, or Sister Dulce evolve, they increase the energy quotient of themselves, which in turn raises the energy quotient of planet Earth, the solar system, the Milky Way, and the entire universe. Everything is interconnected, and that's why it is so important to act with care, dedication, and mercy. The evolution of one represents the evolution of all, and the stagnation of one can represent the stagnation of all. They believe in only one religion, the practice of fraternity. Shiliana says, "You say that outside of charity there is no salvation, and we say that outside of fraternity there is no salvation. In fraternity everyone can give and everyone needs to receive. They also believe in the law of causality, that is, cause and effect. You plant what you wish using your free choice, but inevitably, you will reap what you have sown. They believe in the multiplicity of existences, that is, we are born, die, and are reborn as many times as necessary to learn and evolve. This process does not occur on just one planet, but on several of the same energy proportion, always aiming at the exercise of the same energy. Evolution is the principle that guides all beings. This is in line with what many human religions preach, such as Buddhism and Spiritism, and covertly in other religions. We are currently living in a moment of planetary transition, but also a transition of this sector of the galaxy that includes the Pleiades and Orion. It's like a pulley system where each planet affects the others, and Earth is the key point because the human race is still very immature. Extraterrestrials do not call us evolved, but innate, and all the help that the planetary plan in conjunction with the hierarchies of light offers is in the sense of protecting the solar system and our arm of the galaxy. Extraterrestrials are not here to solve the problems we have created, but can help us find solutions. They see us as younger siblings, beings who are undergoing experiences that they, in their time, also went through. This support extends not just to humans, but to all beings, including animals, plants, and minerals, regardless of whether we are incarnated or not. They have no prejudices, they do not judge, they only analyze the energy control and work together with the planetaries so that we can expand our consciousness. The essential thing, according to them, is that we know who we are. Often we only realize our mistakes when they are visible, like a leak that marks a wall, or when the consequences become unsustainable. Our mistakes are often hidden under layers of varnish that, out of fear and pride, we hide. Fear and pride exist to prevent us from truly knowing who we are. To illustrate our mind, we know that the unconscious is vast and harbors 90% of who we are, while the conscious represents only a small part, the one that perceives the here and now. Furthermore, there is the superconscious, which represents the future and who we can be. The ego, caught between the ID, which wants, and the superego, which imposes limits, tries to mediate these opposing forces. Multidimensional beings from the fifth dimension upwards, unlike us, have their conscious and unconscious much more integrated and awake. They do not live the internal conflict that we live. Their superego clearly guides them towards what they wish to achieve. I find this idea beautiful because it shows that we have beings from all regions working and vibrating love for our planet. Extraplanetary beings are like light sowers, just as the planetary spirits whose function alongside us is to awaken our consciousness and invite us to essential self-knowledge for our evolution. Today we know of the presence of extraterrestrials in many places, working alongside the spirits of light of the earth. In spiritual centers, we receive weekly many questions from mediums who are perceiving different energies and seeing different beings. Chico Xavier, whom I respect as the greatest medium of the modern era and a person of impeccable character, spoke clearly of extraterrestrials. He psychographed and brought messages from these beings, discussing them a lot, mainly with personal friends like Geraldinho. We also know that through the scientific study of these beings, a new human race is being created. One of the reasons for abductions is to select genetic material to work with DNA with the aim of awakening that genetic material which was inactivated by the solar storm. This provides us with a higher level of consciousness, developing both the right and left sides of our brain, which has been developed in a way that is almost criminal by beings who want to command the planet. These beings combat the light, and today they are in the throes of their dominion over planet Earth and the human race. A genetic modification is necessary, especially in the limbic system, which is right in the center of our brain and is the center of manifestation of our emotions. The energy that comes from our soul is captured as electrical energy by the neurons of the limbic system. They're being transformed into neurotransmitters that translate our emotions here in the third dimension. According to the law of fidelity, which is perfect, our bodies are made for spirits like us who need to learn and develop their emotional part. The new body will attract spirits of greater evolution. These spirits are already here. They are the crystal children, the first members of the new human race that will inhabit and develop the new Earth. They are also created thanks to these planetary architects who work together and with the serenity of this light of the Earth. All this has the sole purpose of expanding human consciousness, making man grow, look up and inside, because that is the only path. We need to face who we are and accept that we are immature. We must add our moral and ethical weapons, walking in the direction of ethics so battered on this planet, forget the I in favor of the us, so that the Earth and our human race may survive. The new Earth will be a more fraternal planet of regeneration where people will give what they have best for the survival of all, will accept love, and give love without fear. People will know of their shadow side and work without shame because that is what generates greater costs. They are bringing what the light is asking for, to the light. When it enters, it dispels the darkness. Soon, the Earth will be a planet of union where minerals and plants will be respected for their essential function in maintaining life, where animal brothers will no longer be killed but understood as younger brothers who need the exercise of life to learn. Humans, our brothers, will not suffer prejudice, will not be analyzed by the exterior but by their interior. The moment when all hands join for survival, the moment when our light brothers clearly show themselves and interact with man without the need for so many devices as we have today, extraterrestrials will be here, present, helping us develop our potential that they themselves say is unlimited. It will be a moment of expansion of consciousness, of fraternization and uninterrupted progress for this beloved planet. The extraplanetary guides are not here to take over the planet, but to work side by side with the certainty of the light of the Earth leading us to a new paradigm, another dimension of life where matter will be used only for survival, and the spirit will be able to soar higher, more freely. Love will be a real feeling, an energy that connects all beings of this Earth through respect and ethics. This is the new planet, this new Earth that the extraplanetary brothers wish to see come into existence, working humbly and anonymously so that it may exist. This is the new Earth that we all can build. Thank you for your kindness and your attention.